brought to you by Pike County Title Company, Ambassador Plumbing Incorporated, and Lynn's Heritage House.
Broadcasting from the KJFM Radio Barn at 102.1. This is KJFM Louisiana Bowling Green, Eagle 102. Area high school softball is on the air. Every week, Eagle 102 brings you the best of area high school sports. On air at 102.1, online at KJFMradio.com, and on the KJFM Radio app. Now to the diamond for high school softball on your area sports leader, KJFM Radio.
And welcome to Wallace Memorial Park on this Tuesday afternoon. Maddie Ingram in with you for Eagle 102 Sports as the Louisiana Lady Bulldogs, they're 2-0 on the season, welcome in the Silex Lady Owls. They are 0-1 on the season for this EMO Conference Showdown. We'll talk about all of this one next in the pregame show on Eagle 102.
Satellite Center is the only stop you need to make when it comes to satellite providers, offering DirecTV and Dish Network along with antenna installs. Now, special message from Matthew Niemeyer himself.
If you call an 800 number and they say we will be the local installer, they are wrong.
Contact Matthew at Sailor and Satellite Center in Bowling Green, your local authorized dealer.
At Pike County Memorial Hospital, we know how important athletics are for your kids, but with an active lifestyle, sports become health risks and safety hazards. As a certified athletic trainer at Pike County Memorial Hospital, I work closely with our primary care physicians, orthopedic doctors, and physical therapists. We can make a difference between safe play and dangerous injuries for your athletes. Working with Bowling Green, Crofton, and Louisiana schools, our goal is to provide the best possible outcome for your athletes. I'm Casey Sutton, certified athletic trainer with Pike County Memorial Hospital. I'm at work while your athletes are at play.
Brown's Processing and Smokehouse Meats is your first stop when stocking your freezer. Brown's has frozen chicken, steaks, brats, and burgers ready to go. For wholesale and custom butchering, Brown's is your first call. It's where quality meets service. Brown's Processing and Smokehouse Meats. For your meat processing, smokehouse meats, and homemade sausage. Just off Highway 61 in Silex.
Geared Up, just off the square in Pittsfield, is your first stop for screen printing and embroidery. The folks at Geared Up take pride in making their communities and schools look great while offering the best prices around. If you're looking to expand your wardrobe, or maybe a gift is on the list, stop by their store and check out numerous items in stock. When you're looking for custom apparel and awards for your business, Geared Up, 211 South Madison in Pittsfield.
Greatness doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, focus, and dedication. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that because we put in the hard work and dedication for decades. And that commitment is paid off with award-winning customer service for your auto, home, and life insurance.
Ask me, Ashley Jenkins, about Shelter's auto, home, and life options.
The best coverage of area high school sports is on KJFM Radio. Brought to you by Cellular and Satellite, Pike County Memorial Hospital, Ackles Farm Market, and Shelter Insurance agent Ashley Jenkins.
The Eagle 102 Sports pregame show is coming up on KJFM Radio.
And we're at Wallace Memorial Park this evening as the Louisiana Lady Bulldogs welcome in the Silex Lady Owls. Maddie Ingram in with you for Eagle 102 Sports. This is going to be a good one. Silex off to an 0-1 start. They fell to Montgomery County last week, and they fell 2-1 in 9 innings. It was a really, really good game. A pitcher's duel until the end, and it was a hard-fought game by both sides. So they started off a little rocky in a way. I guess if you want to say a 9-inning game is a bad loss, but you never want to start your season off with a loss, but not necessarily bad things to take away from that one. I thought Silex performed really well, and they really rose to the occasion. Louisiana, they're off to a hot start, though. They beat Palmyra 18-6 to open their season, and then they followed that up by beating the Bowling Green Lady Cats 15-5 in 5 innings. So that is a big score there, but they've been putting up some runs, and we're looking forward to see what they can do this evening.
in schools and their athletes. When it's time to reach that thirst, reach for one of the many Pepsi products found in the local concession stands, including Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Sundrop, or the all-new Starry Lemon Lime. If you are wanting something other than soda, enjoy Bubbler, Clarbrun Water, Lipton Teas, Gatorade, and more. Pepsi Cola Bottling Company in New Haven and Bowling Green wishes all the area athletes a great season.
One multi-sports complex around indoor facility to get your softball and baseball work in. Call Courtney at 573-324-2193 or Matthew at 573-324-8282 to schedule an appointment and to inquire about memberships. One multi-sports complex just off VFW Road in Bowling Green.
Hannibal Regional Medical Group in Bowling Green is right here for you and your family. No matter what stage of life you are in, better health starts with your primary care provider, the person who knows your health history and can connect you with the right specialist if needed. The Hannibal Regional Medical Group team of primary care providers are ready to help guide you on your path to better health, right here at home. To schedule an appointment, just call 573-324-2241. Hannibal Regional Medical Group in Bowling Green.
The most complete coverage of high school sports is on Eagle 102. Brought to you by Brown's Processing and Smokehouse Meats, Geared Up, Community State Bank of Missouri, and Barnes Roots and Herbs.
Time now for the Eagle 102 Sports Keys to the Game on KJFM. Sponsored by Vicki Cadwalder Real Estate in Louisiana.
And welcome back to Wallace Memorial Park. The Louisiana Lady Bulldogs, they are hosting the Silex Lady Owls. We're going to get started a few minutes early here, so let's go ahead and run down those starting lineups. And on the field, it'll be Louisiana. We're going to go from left to right. Reese Womack is in left field. In center field, Jalea Reese. Maddie Jenkins is your right fielder today. Peyton Anderson is at third base. Jordan Bayline, the shortstop. Katie Wallace, the second baseman. Tessa DePriest at first base. Behind the plate, it's Jordan Pedersen. And in the circle today, it is Maddie Chandler. The lineup for the Silex Lady Owls, leading off, it'll be Rylan Jensen. She wears number 13 and bats from the left side. She'll play center field today, followed by Kinsey James, the shortstop. In the 3 spot, it's Carrington Morris. She is your catcher today. Austin Van Horn will be playing first base and batting fourth. Batting fifth, it's Kylie Twellman. She is your designated player and playing second base in place of that, Nikki Carroll. It is Rylan Harris who's going to be the pitcher today. Macy Mooney is the third baseman, and she will bat seventh. Batting eighth, it's Claire Schwindeman, the right fielder, and then batting ninth, rounding out the lineup for the Silex Lady Owls, is the left fielder, Morgan Kuntz. So for Silex, it goes Jensen, James, Morris, Van Horn, Twellman, Harris, Mooney, Schwindeman, and Kuntz. And then for the Louisiana Lady Bulldogs, it'll be Jalea Reese, Katie Wallace, Jordan Bayline, Maddie Chandler, Jordan Pedersen, Maddie Jenkins, Reese Womack, Tessa DePriest, and Peyton Anderson. Getting her warm-up tosses in the circle, as we mentioned, it's your starter today, Maddie Chandler. Coming into this matchup, the Louisiana Lady Bulldogs, they come in 2-0, and then it is Silex 1-0. As Pedersen gets ready to toss it down, and we are ready for softball. As we mentioned, that lineup for Silex Lady Owls leading things off today, it's going to be Rylan Jensen, followed by Kinsey James and Carrington Morris. Talking with the home plate umpire as players head to their positions. One more look at that defense for the Bulldogs. As we know, we gave it to you rapid fire. Reese Womack in left field. The center fielder today, Jalea Reese. Right fielder, Maddie Jenkins. Peyton Anderson is at third base. The shortstop, Jordan Bayline. Katie Wallace, the second baseman. Tessa DePriest at first base behind the plate. Jordan Pedersen, Maddie Chandler. is in the pitcher circle, and one pitch and a single to left field off the bat of Rylan Jensen. That's how things get started, and it's a good start for the Owls as they have their leadoff girl on, and it'll be Kinsey James now due up for the Owls. Jensen has some speed. That was a slap off the end of the bat that she drove, and it was a one-hop in front of the left fielder, Reese Walmick, who was able to collect it and toss it in. Bunt attempt, and James can't get it down. It's picked up in foul territory and tossed back out to the pitcher, Maddie Chandler. 0-1 as the Silex players look at their wristbands. Just 2 pitches so far and make that pitch number 3. Crossed up the catcher Pedersen and gets away from her. Taking second base is Rylan Jensen. She's standing up. Nobody was covering third base as everyone came crashing in, and she almost had bag number 3. But it is James at the plate. She fouls the next pitch she sees off back to the screen. 1-2 our count, and a runner at second base and nobody out. Thank you for joining us this afternoon as we bring you high school softball action, EMO conference play from Wallace Memorial Park in Louisiana. Next pitch is up and out of the zone, bringing the count 2-2. That runner at second base is the leadoff batter, Rylan Jensen. Next pitch is popped in the air and sliding into the fence, making the catch in the air. It was a foul ball that was headed out. It was Jordan Pedersen, and we have out number 1. So going down is Kinsey James. Runner stays at second base, and now it's the 3-hole. It is Carrington Morris who steps in on the right-hand side. She's crowding the plate. She goes hacking at the first pitch she sees and sends it to the parking lot. With 1 out and a runner at second base, our count is 0-1. No score. So you're joining us in the top of the first inning from Louisiana. Next pitch finds the shoelaces of Morris and gets away from the backstop. Pedersen tracks it down, but not before Jensen is able to take third base. So Lady Owls have a runner at third base with 1 out. Count is 1-1 on the 3 spot. Chandler takes her time, delivers the next pitch. Sliced foul. 1-2. Chandler looks at her wristband as she gets the pitch call from the dugout. The 1-2 pitch, off speed, chopped sharply to the third baseman Anderson. She looks back and tosses it across the diamond, and it's a double play. It's Anderson to DePriest. DePriest has a quick release with a snap throw to home plate. A nice tag and a drop of the knee from Jordan Pedersen, the catcher, and they are able to cancel the threat, and we are headed to the bottom of the first inning. Silex can't score. Big double play for the Louisiana Lady Bulldogs. You're listening to Area High School Sports on Eagle 102.
Coverage brought to you by Mike Henry Excavating, Pogue Chevy Buick in Hannibal, and Service and Supply Co-op.
Community State Bank of Missouri in Bowling Green and Troy, where the #1 priority is the customer and adding new services to help simplify your life and building a strong, high-performance financial services organization. Community State Bank in Bowling Green and Troy, your community bank since 1887, member FDIC.
Did you know you can earn money by harvesting wild plants? Hi, I'm Craig Barnes with Barnes Roots and Herbs. We're south of Eolia, and we buy wild harvested plant products like sassafras leaf, walnuts, golden seal, ginseng, and many more. For more information and a list of what we're buying, visit us on Facebook, or you can call us at 636-205-4333. Barnes Roots and Herbs, 636-205-4333. Money does grow on trees.
High school sports on your area sports leader, Eagle 102. Brought to you by Bowling Green Tractor, State Farm agents Rod Prentice and Brenda Crawford, Vicki Cadwalder Real Estate, and Pepsi.
And welcome back as we are at Wallace Memorial Park this afternoon. The Silex Lady Owls visiting the Louisiana Lady Bulldogs for this EMO conference matchup. And what a first inning for Louisiana. They were able to cancel out that runner that got on. It was Rylan Jensen. She started things off with a line drive to left field. It was a nice short one hop to the left fielder. She was able to advance, take second base on a ball that got away, and then took third base on a ball that got away. Then it was a off-speed pitch tossed to Carrington Morris, and that ball was rolled over to the third baseman Anderson. She did a great look back at the runner Jensen at third base, froze her, tossed it across the diamond. Then it was Tessa DePriest with a quick snap throw from first base in, and a fantastic tag from Jordan Pedersen, who was able to drop her knee and apply the tag for the double play. As we start the bottom of the first inning, Jalea Reese tries to bunt at the first pitch she sees. It gets it off the end of the bat. It's popped in the air, and out number one is recorded. The lineup for the Louisiana Lady Bulldogs goes Reese, Wallace, Bayline, Chandler, Pedersen, Jenkins, Womack, DePriest, Anderson. So we just saw Jalea Reese, and she sees one pitch, she's out, and now Katie Wallace steps in. The pitch had some movement out of the hand of Rylan Harris and catches the corner for a called strike. Next pitch misses just outside and a little low, a 1-1 count to the right-handed hitter Katie Wallace. Wallace steps in, rests her bat on her shoulder, and she pops the next pitch she sees up, and it's going to stay in the field of play in foul territory. Caught by Carrington Morris, who does a back bend, but tosses it back out to her pitcher. Not the start you're wanting if you're the Louisiana Lady Bulldogs. A couple of pop-outs, maybe about 5 foot away from home plate. So both outs have been pop-outs. Bayline, slow grounder off the end of the bat, up with it. It's Nikki Carroll. She makes the toss over to first base. Receiving it, it's Austin Van Horn. That's 3 outs, so 3 up, 3 down. We are headed to the top of the second inning. No runs have been scored either side. Our score 0-0. You're listening to Eagle 102.
Game of the Week coverage brought to you by Hayden's Motorsports, Geeky Hillbilly, and the Twin Pike Family YMCA.
Gambino's Eatery in Louisiana is open Wednesday through Sunday. Start your day with our select breakfast options, muffins, breakfast burrito, frittata, available from 11 a.m. Enjoy lunch options until 4 p.m., including tenderloin, burgers, wraps, and salads. And Gambino's dinner menu from 4 p.m. to close, featuring delicious entrees like lasagna, red wine pot roast, and more. We offer a variety of dishes beyond pizza and Italian, ensuring there's something for everyone. And don't forget, we're now open Sundays from 11 to 2 p.m. Gambino's on 3rd and Georgia in Louisiana. Your perfect dining destination Wednesday through Sunday.
If it's not on the menu, we don't talk about it.
Follow area high school sports on KJFM Radio, brought to you by One Multi-Sports Complex. Pike County Mutual Insurance agents Corey Buchanan and Sheila Clucky, Gambino's Eatery, and Hannibal Regional Medical Group.
Top of the second inning, as no score from either side, and both sides went down 1, 2, 3. So we'll start with 4, 5, 6 this inning. It'll be Austin Van Horn for the Silex Lady Owls, followed by Kylie Twellman and Rylan Harris. If anybody gets on, it'll be Macy Mooney. As Van Horn steps into the batter's box, has an open stance and bats from the right side. She has some height to her. And the first pitch she sees is called on the outside corner of the plate for strike number 1. Good start for Chandler as she looks to the dugout to get the call for the next pitch. Bears back. That one cuts on the backside of the plate and is not called for a strike. 1-1. Van Horn saws that one off. It hits the screen. 1-2. Pedersen's not ready. She's getting the call from the dugout and doesn't have her mask on, but Van Horn is in the batter's box. She's ready to go. And now Pedersen's down. Chandler's ready to go as well. Next pitch bottoms out. Can't hold on to it. 2-2. Chandler with the next pitch. It's a curveball that spins quite a bit but doesn't really break. It's off the end of the bat of Van Horn, and it hits the light pole right off the top of the lights and goes right back into the field of play. I don't think we've seen that happen very many times. Would like to see her try again. 2-2 the count. No outs in the top of the second inning. Next pitch runs inside. Pedersen tries to frame it. Can't do enough work to bring it up in the zone. 3-2. Chandler with the full count. Gets Van Horn to chase on a pitch that dropped off on the backside of the plate, and she took a little something off of it. The first strikeout of the day for Chandler, and that's out number 1 in the top of the second. In steps Kylie Twellman. Twellman, a right-handed hitter, swings at the first pitch she sees. She splits the 3-4 gap, and it hits off the lip and into the glove of the right fielder, Maddie Jenkins. A single, and Twellman is aboard. And now it'll be the pitcher, Rylan Harris. So a pitcher versus pitcher matchup. Chandler comes set, winds up, and the first pitch she delivers carries high, reeled back in by Pedersen. 1-0. Next pitch, sawed off on the inside, and it's a long foul ball that'll find the gravel parking lot. 1-1. Harris steps back in. Same thing there. Sawed off, finds the gravel parking lot, and hits one of the nicer cars in the lot. 1-2. This one off the end of the bat and just under the glove of Tessa DePriest. And she was shaded more towards the line, I think anticipating maybe a toss back from Pedersen. So that ball could have been stopped, but I think there was just a little bit too much of a gap in where she was setting herself up to play. So that is a single to the right side for Harris. And so back-to-back singles after a strikeout. And the Silex Lady Owls are pushing to try to get a run across. Same spot to that right side. Was able to find the gap. Mooney goes hacking at the first pitch she sees. Swings right through it with 1 out and runners at first and second base for the Lady Owls. She powers this one into center field, going back, and it's over the head of Jalea Reese. It's going to bounce off the wall, and everybody is going to be safe at their bag. So first, second, and third, the bases are juiced for Claire Schwindeman, the right fielder. That was a long single, but it really looked like Jalea Reese had a great read on that ball, and I think she had fooled all of the Silex players, and she was just probably 3 steps too far in. Just continued to carry. It was a ball that was on a line. Hops right in front of that 205 sign in center field. So bases juiced after a long single from Macy Mooney, and Schwindeman, smaller in stature, takes the first pitch she sees on the outside corner for strike 1. 1 out. Next pitch gets away, hits off the backstop pretty hard, so it's going to keep runners where they're at. As Pedersen was able to get a good read on it, it came right back to her. 1-1. 8-9-1 for Silex. The 1-1 pitch to Schwindeman. Off speed, she steps out and fouls it off the inside part of her bat. Goes out of play. And our count now 1-2. Chandler recorded a strikeout of the 4-spot Van Horn earlier in the inning. This is the only recorded out so far. And another strikeout there as Schwindeman got crossed up. Swung right through it. And now 2 outs with the bases loaded. What you do with runners in scoring position means a lot. It's a stat that's tracked, especially in Major League Baseball, professional sports at the collegiate level. Next pitch is bounced low. Good scoop by Pedersen as she's able to keep it in front. 1-0 count with 2 outs. And looks like Coach Matt Cannon wants to talk to his team. Obviously at the bottom of the lineup, but Silex needs to do something here when you have those runners on. When you think about the postseason, obviously that's a ways out, but it's going to be here before we know it. Those are the little things that you see really good teams do. You see those teams winning district championships, winning state titles, whatever it may be. Those teams that are winning, whenever the regular season is over, they do these little things. So when you get those runners in scoring position, you got 1 out, you've got to push at least one of those runs across, especially with some speed on the base path. Matt Cannon is done chatting with his players, walks back to the dugout, and it's a 1-0 count to Kuntz. They're going to check back on the runner. Mooney way far off the bag, and she gets back just in time. What a snap throw from Pedersen, and DePriest was able to apply the tag. 1-1 count to the 9 spot, Morgan Kuntz. Next pitch rides high to the outside. 2-1. Next pitch rides high as well. Nowhere to put her. Our count is 3-1. Kuntz steps back in with an all-red bat. Even the tape on the bat is red. She fouls the next pitch off, and we have a full count. Can Silex push one across here? Kuntz steps back in the box. Just waiting on the catcher, Pedersen. As she goes down into her squat, the next pitch is a curveball on the inside. It wasn't caught by the catcher, and the umpire is going to say strike 3. It ran to the backstop, hit off the backstop. Kuntz ran to first base, but for the drop third strike, I don't know how you call strike 3 when the ball wasn't even caught, but he called it anyways. So a looking strikeout for Kuntz, and that is how we will roll to the bottom of the second inning. No score. You're listening to Area High School Softball on Eagle 102.
Game of the Week coverage brought to you by Pike County Title Company, Ambassador Plumbing Incorporated, and Lynn's Heritage House.
It's a great time to buy or sell a home. I'm Vicki Cadwalder, and I take pride in offering skills that make the process go smoothly from beginning to end. Even after closing, I enjoy staying in touch and being there to help you if you have any other needs or questions. Call me and we'll create a personalized plan just for you. Vicki Cadwalder Real Estate, loving our small town life.
The most complete coverage of high school sports is on Eagle 102. Brought to you by Eagles Bluff Golf Course, People's Bank and Trust, Pike County Health Department, and Missouri State Representative Chad Perkins.
Bottom of the second inning, it will be 4-5-6 for the Louisiana Lady Dogs. It'll be Chandler, Pedersen, Jenkins. If anybody gets on, it's going to be Reese Womack, Tessa DePriest, and Peyton Anderson. Then they'll be back to the top of the lineup. Silex was able to roll through 1 through 9, and so they will turn the lineup over in the top of the third. They threatened there, but it was 3 strikeouts from the pitcher, Maddie Chandler, who was able to end that threat. First pitch to Chandler, Up and out of the zone. 1-0. She swings at the next pitch. Very similar spot, 1-1. Next pitch rides a little too far to the outside corner of the plate. It's reeled in by Morris, but no opportunity to get the strike call. 2-1. Next pitch crosses Morris up. Hits the backstop off of the tip of her glove and then to the backstop. 3-1 in this pitcher versus pitcher battle. 4-5-6 for the Louisiana Lady Bulldogs. Chandler swinging 3-1 on a pitch in on the hand. She fouls it back to the screen. We now have a full count, 3-2. And she steps back in. Bats from the right side and powers this one high. It's trying to find some fence room and foul. It's going to drop right in between no man's land and foul territory. First baseman, second baseman, and right fielder all crashing in after it, but couldn't get to it in time. So a new life for Chandler, 3-2. In the bottom of the first, swing and a miss as Chandler goes down. So just exchanging strikeouts. In the bottom of the first inning, Louisiana went down with a fly out to the pitcher, a fly out to the catcher, and a ground ball to the second baseman. So they went down 1-2-3, and they start this inning with a strikeout. And now steps in Jordan Pedersen. First pitch she sees, paints the outside corner. It's in for strike number 1. An interesting stance. It looks like Pedersen has tried something new here. Her front foot is cut in towards the plate, but her back foot and her batter stance is pretty far away from the plate. So she's kind of turned in that batter's box, closing herself off to that inside. And she waves at a pitch that catches the outside corner, 0-2. Fouls that one off. It's going to hit the bathrooms behind us. And she has another life. 1-2 our count. As Pedersen digs in. The right-handed hitter looks for the next pitch from the Lady Owls pitcher. She gets it off the end of the bat, fights it off, and hits the screen. Harris doing some battling here. She was able to record out number 1. It was a strikeout of the 4-hitter, Maddie Chandler. And this one grooved near the middle of the plate, and it's going to drop in right between the second baseman, Nikki Carroll, and Rylan Jensen. Looked like Carroll may have lost it in the sun, or there was some communication in the outfield saying mine, 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 and she was trying to get out of the way. One of the two happened, but there was a dip out from Carroll, and that ball falls in no man's land. It'll go down as a hit for Pedersen. She's at first base. And in steps Maddie Jenkins. Jenkins takes strike number 1. Swings and chops at that next pitch that she sees. It off the end of the bat and bounces off the bleachers. 0-2. Maybe a little hit and run action, as it looked like she was just trying to stick a bat out and try to move the runner. 0-2 count, off speed and inside. Chandler turns, or excuse me, Jenkins turns the correct way. Got a couple of Maddies out there. 1-2 the count. Next pitch she sees is swatted at as well. 1-2. That runner at first base is Jordan Pedersen. As Jenkins steps back in. right off the end of the bat. Another foul ball to stay alive. 1-2. Next pitch on the outside corner and just a little outside. Nice pitch. And I don't know if you called her. They're going to say it was a ball. Pedersen stole second base on the pitch, and she slides in there safely. So Jenkins will stay at the plate. Beautiful, beautiful pitch. I think it may have just been shielded by Morris with her pop time trying to get up and toss out Pedersen. This one is hacked at and chopped into left field. Caught on a line. Morgan Kuntz is able to record out number 2. Pedersen will stay at second base for the Lady Bulldogs. Jenkins will talk to Womack about it, and she was all hands. Pedersen is going to have a runner, courtesy runner, go out there for her. Was unable to catch the number of the courtesy runner. So a courtesy runner for the catcher. And Reese Womack will step into the right side of the batter's box with 2 outs. First pitch she sees is down. Ball 1. Rylan Harris grabs her rosin bag, takes a peek into the Silex dugout, gets the call for the wristband, and the next pitch Womack sees is chopped at, popped in the air. Harris calls everyone off. She's able to make the catch for out number 3. We are headed to the top of the 3rd inning. Still no score. You're listening to Area High School Softball on Eagle 102.
Game of the Week coverage brought to you by McMailer & Sons Backhoe and Excavating, La Crosse Lumber Company, and Sudsy Tub.
Hi, this is Shelley Clucky with Pike County Mutual Insurance Company. We appreciate the value of working hard and making sure you've taken steps to make sure you're prepared for whatever comes your direction. Best wishes to all of our area athletes for another amazing season from myself and Corey Buchanan at Pike County Mutual Insurance Company on the Square in Bowling Green.
Eagles Bluff Golf Course in Clarksville is a locally owned public course, available for play 7 days a week. For more information, call, visit, or go online to eaglesbluffgolf.com.
Area High School Sports on Eagle 102. Brought to you by A Taste of Philly, State Farm Insurance Agent Cindy Blaylock, Central State Bank of Illinois, and Eolia Landscape Supply.
3rd inning here at Wallace Memorial Park. 0-0 our score in this EMO Conference showdown. Neither team has figured out the other's pitcher, so both lineups have looked a little confused at the plate. For Silex, they'll be back to the top, though, and it was Rylan Jensen who got things started for the Lady Owls. She's the center fielder today, but she started things off in the 1st inning with a line drive to left field for a single. And she will start things off in the 3rd inning after Silex threatened in the the top of the 2nd, but couldn't push a run across. First pitch to Jensen slides into the zone, just catching that outside corner as Jensen's a left-handed hitter. Next pitch she sees is poked down the left field side, and it's Anderson who's running into the fence and almost makes the catch in foul territory to record the out, but she drops it, and they say no catch. 0-2. That would have been a big out. She already made a really big play in the 1st inning. Been nice to see her do something there as well. 0-1. Next pitch is popped in the air. Room? No. Just out of reach for Tessa DePriest. In foul territory. So we'll try 0-2 again as Jensen heads back to the plate. Slap hitter. And she's back in the zone. Next one is going to split the gap. 5-6 hole. Dribbles into left field, getting it in quickly. Reese Womack but one aboard for the Silex Lady Owls. So she's 2 for 2 today. And that'll bring in Kenzie James. James, the shortstop. In her last at-bat, she flied out to the catcher. The first pitch that is tossed her way gets away from the catcher, Pedersen. So the runner, Jensen, is standing up at second base and a 1-0 count on batter James. A big EMO conference matchup today. Louisiana coming into this matchup 2-0. Silex 0-1, and the next pitch gets away off the glove of Pedersen to the backstop, and taking third base, Jensen is in safely. 2-0 the count to Kenzie James. As she steps back in, Chandler trying to take a moment to compose herself after tossing back-to-back wild pitches. James goes hacking and fouls one back to the screen. 2-1. Count. This one is lined into right. That's going to do a job. Going to go to the wall. James is hustling. She might push for 2, and she does. She's going to stand up at second base. Jensen comes in and taps home plate to get the Lady Owls on the board. They lead 1-0, and Jensen started things off, so she taps home plate, and it is James at second base. Next pitch gets away from Pedersen, and James now stands at third. Coach Matt Cannon wants to have a conversation with his team. We'll take a quick break as they have a break on the field. We'll be back with more softball on Eagle 102.
Game of the Week coverage brought to you by Mike Henry Excavating, Pogue Chevy Buick in Hannibal, and Service and Supply Co-op.
State Farm in Pittsfield understands that life can be tough. The State Farm staff is there to help you make smart decisions when it comes to all your insurance and financial service needs. Call, email, text, or stop by the office Monday through Friday between 9 to 5 to talk to an agent. State Farm in Pittsfield, a family-oriented office, is located at 311 Half West Washington Street in Pittsfield, serving Pike County, Illinois, and the surrounding areas.
The area's best coverage of high school sports on Eagle 102. Brought to you by Noah Builders, Castile's Color Wheel, Eagles Nest Inn, and People's Savings Bank.
2-2 the count on Morris. And she steps back in on the right-hand side. James at third base for the Silex Lady Owls, trying to push her across. They've already scored 1. James doubled to the right side, and this one is a line shot into right field. It's going to come run across with Kenzie James. She taps home plate and gives a big thumbs up to Carrington Morris. Katie Wallace was shaded in, anticipating a soft grounder, and it looks like the pitch that was selected just kind of rode the middle of the plate rather than the outside. It looked like a pitch was spinning, trying to hit that outside corner, but didn't get away, and squaring it up was Carrington Morris. So back-to-back runs scored for the Silex Lady Owls after threatening in the the top of the second. Now at the plate, it is Van Horn. She was a strikeout victim her last at-bat. She fouls the next pitch she sees off in a 1-1 count with a runner at first base. Van Horn steps back in. Next pitch rides high. 2 balls, 1 strike. Our score with the runner at first base and no outs. Next pitch high as well. Two. Chandler comes set, delivers the next pitch. This one is lined into center field. Good read on it, but it's going to hit off the wall. Van Horn is going to have to hang up, and diving in to third base is Morris. She had a bad read on that one. It was clearly over the head of Jalea Reese, but we know how well Reese can get a good read on the ball and make those big plays in the outfield. It just was carrying too much. Van Horn with a nice shot off the wall. She has a double. She's standing at 2, but it was a late jump from Carrington Morris. She head dives into third base, and it was a nice toss in from the outfield from Jalea Reese to Jordan Bayline. Bayline put the throw right on the bag and was just not in time as Morris dove in probably a second before the ball got there. So runners at second and third now. Still no outs on the board. As the first pitch that Twellman sees hits the backstop, 1-0. Pitch outside, but swung on by Twellman, 1-1. No outs with runners at second and third base. Silex, they've put up 2 runs here in the top of the third inning. Good block by Pedersen. She's able to keep the ball in front of her as it hit the dirt and then hit her chest protector. 2-1 with Twellman at the plate. Next pitch elevates. No good. 3-1. Twellman batting from the right side. Waits for the pitch from Chandler, and it's delivered high as well. Still no outs. Bases juiced for the Silex Lady Owls. First pitch is riding high and in to the batter, Rylan Harris. So this pitcher versus pitcher matchup starts 1-0. Harris has an opportunity to help herself here. Silex has already struck twice. Next pitch is inside and swung on, 1-1. Chandler struggled to find her zone so far in the third inning. She's been able to get out of some jams the last 2 innings, and this one is powered into center field, getting a couple of turns on it, can't get a good read, and it's off the glove of Jalea Reese in center field. It's going to clear 2 spots on the bags as 2 runs come across the plate, and the runners are going to advance as the ball got away from the catcher, Pedersen. Standing at second base, it is Rylan Harris. At third base, it is Kylie Twellman. 2 more runs on the board for the Silex Lady Owls. Still no outs. 4-0. That is the 3rd or 4th ball that has been hit to center field that Reese has had a little bit of a trouble getting a read on it, but it seems like these line drives are really just carrying. I don't know if Silex is just putting that much behind it and that ball is hitting off the bat hard and they're getting a good swing and it's just carrying and it's hard to read, or if she's having some trouble seeing out there, but they've put her all over center field trying to put her range on full display with some line drive shots to the wall. 1-1, the count to Macy Mooney with no outs and 4 runs on the board for the Silex Lady Owls. Runners at second and third base. It's the top of the third inning. Lined right back at the pitcher, Maddie Chandler. She gets her glove on it, but it's near her forearm, so I don't know if it was just the the little padding that she has right on that hand area, but the best defense that she could have there is that one was hot off the bat. It's going to go down as a hit. You can't count that as an error as hard as that one was hit off the bat of Macy Mooney, so she'll take first base. And Coach Matt Cannon wants to come out and check on Maddie Chandler. We'll take a quick break as they check on her. We'll be back with more softball on Eagle 102.
Brought to you by Hayden's Motorsports, Geeky Hillbilly, and the Twin Pike Family YMCA.
Don't have time to stop by the bank? That's not a problem if you're a customer of People's Bank and Trust. With our mobile and online banking service, you can now bank from anywhere. Deposit checks, pay bills, transfer funds between accounts, check the latest activity on your account, and view images of your checks, all from the convenience of your desktop and smartphone. So start banking on your schedule and download the People's Bank and Trust app today. People's Bank and Trust, hometown banking the way it should be. Member FDIC.
The best coverage of area high school sports is on KJFM Radio. Brought to you by Cellular and Satellite, Pike County Memorial Hospital, Ackles Farm Market, and Shelter Insurance Agent Ashley Jenkins.
Bases are loaded here. Count is 2-2 to the hitter Schwindeman. Maddie Chandler still out there. Excuse me, 2-0 the count. Make it 3-0. With the bases loaded and still no outs, Silex has scored 4 runs. 3-0 to Schwindeman. Next pitch is served up right down the middle, a get over fastball, and she's back in this one. 3-1. The 3-1 pitch from Chandler, chopped into the ground. Slow roller, pitcher up with it, and woo, there is a collision at home plate as Schwellman should have been sliding, did not, ran straight into Pedersen. They do get the out, the force out at home plate. There was no need for a tag, but ran straight into Pedersen. She's not happy about it. She's going to dust herself off, get back behind the plate because she is a tough kid, but I know that didn't feel good. She got knocked down by Twellman. Twellman back to the bench, and the first out on the board. Bases are still loaded, and it is the 9 spot, Kuntz. Morgan struck out in her first at bat. Four runs here in the top of the third inning for the Silex Lady Owls. First pitch is up and away, taken for a ball. 1-0. Turned on that one, but it's going to run foul. And that ball is going to say hello to a couple of kids that are down there playing. I don't think they were paying enough attention. That would have hurt. 1-1 with 1 out and bases loaded. Kuntz steps back in. Bounced in. Good block by Pedersen, who's up with it and running the Lady Owls back to their bag. Good block. 2-1. Chandler with a pitch that's right down the middle, and turning on it, it's Kuntz. She drives it into right field. Jenkins up with it on the 1 hop. 2 runs come across to score. Silex 6-0, all 6 runs here in the third inning, and they're still threatening for more with runners at first and third base. And it's back to the top of the lineup for Rylan Jensen. Jensen is already 2 for 2 today. She singled to the left side both times. Flashing bunt. Can't get a good grip on it. Pedersen's unable to make the toss down to second base. Kuntz is able to steal. She's in there safely. 6-0 our score. Runners at second and third for the Silex Lady Owls, as their offense has really come alive, taking every opportunity here in the third. Next pitch, beautiful. It's right on that outside corner, paints the black. And right back in this one, it's Chandler. She's been able to compete and has done a good job of it. There's 1 out, 2-1 is the count. Brings her up on the outside, bringing our count 2-2. Next pitch is swung on and missed, and for the first time today, Rylan Jensen goes down, as she had 2 singles before that, so she could have been a big threat. Nice to see Chandler make the adjustment. So another strikeout, and that's out number 2 as we continue to make our way through this third inning. Chandler comes back firing, and the first pitch tossed to Kinsey James. James swings on it, fouls it back to the screen. 0-1. Next pitch freezes her. Good pitch on that inside, 0-2. James is going to have to battle back, but Chandler has seemed to settle in after giving up 6 runs. Let's see if she can close the door with the runners at second and third base. Off speed, and a great stop by Peyton Anderson. She tosses it across the diamond. It was a diving play, and then just a missile over to first base. That's out number 3. We're headed to the bottom of the third inning. Silex leading Louisiana 6-0. You're listening to Area High School Sports on Eagle 102.
Game of the Week coverage brought to you by Pike County Title Company, Ambassador Plumbing Incorporated, and Lynn's Heritage House.
Everyone needs help with something at some point in their life. This is Tracy B. with PCHD, and I am here to remind you that we have certified community health workers staffed at our office that offer assistance for free to those who need help navigating local resources and more. Please don't hesitate to call 573-324-2111 to learn more, or visit our website at pikecountyhealth.org.
The most complete coverage of high school sports is on Eagle 102. Brought to you by Brown's Processing and Smokehouse Meats, Geared Up, Community State Bank of Missouri, and Barnes Roots and Herbs.
The Louisiana Lady Bulldogs have some work to do as they allowed 6 runs in the top of the third inning. Silex was able to take advantage of some of the opportunities they were given, and they came up with some big hits and just line drive shots to the wall. Yeah, that's when you know you're seeing the ball well. So they were able to capitalize, and Maddie Chandler threw a lot of pitches. So that makes it a little bit easier on an offense because you're putting her back against the wall. And so we're going to have to see how Louisiana responds. They've been able to put up quite a few runs so far this year. They put up 15 runs against Bowling Green. They put up 18 runs against Palmyra. I mean, they're really off to a great start, and it seems like they're on a tear offensively. So this is a EMO conference game. You'd like to see them have some fight here. But what a great offensive showing from Silex. And this could be a big statement for their defense if they can go out there and throw up a goose egg in this bottom half of the third. At the plate for Louisiana, as they still haven't even made it through their lineup for the first time, it's Tessa DePriest. Tessa fouls one back to the screen. Our count is 1-1. Next pitch is on the inside. It's counted for a strike right at the letters. Good pitch out of the hands of Harris. Harris upstairs, same spot. DePriest doesn't like it, but she's rung up for strike number 3. So she's caught looking, and we're down to the 9 spot, which will be Anderson, and she's made a couple of really big plays today for Louisiana. She bats from the right-hand side. She's playing third base. got a good glove. And first pitch she sees, she pokes it right over the head of Austin Van Horn, hustles down the line as the right fielder, Claire Schwindeman, had a good read on it, and she was playing pretty shallow. Had an opportunity to possibly toss her out, but doesn't do so. It's a single, and we're going to turn the lineup over. Louisiana sends Jalea Reese to the plate. In her first at-bat, she saw one pitch. She popped it out to the pitcher, and that was all she wrote. They're going to do a snap throw back to first base. Good pop from Carrington Morris, and the throw's just not in time. Anderson is back in safely. Next pitch rides high. 2-0. And Reese tries to drop down another bunt. It is fouled back to the screen. 2-1. Giving the catcher Morris just another moment, as I think that ball bounced off of her foot. So she'll now get the call from the dugout. And Harris looks at her wristband, rears back, and delivers the next. Tries to bunt it and pushes it in between the first baseman, second baseman, and pitcher. Jalea Reese reaches, but Anderson is tossed out at second base. It was a pop fly that was just over the head of everyone that was crashing in. Just didn't work out in Louisiana's favor. So that's a fielder's choice. And that brings in the 2 spot, Katie Wallace. Wallace in her last at-bat flied out to the catcher. With the runner at first base, Jalea Reese. And lined into center field. It's going to drop, and it does. Rylan Jensen gets a glove on it about a second after it hit the grass. She was right there just crashing in from center field. Couldn't get a glove on it in time. But you have runners at first and second for the Lady Dogs. And the 3 spot, Jordan Bayline steps in for Louisiana. In her last at-bat, she grounded out to the second baseman. And the first pitch she sees rides the outside corner and is in for strike number 1. With 2 outs on the board, Bayline sees the next pitch right at the letters, which that's what they called the Tessa Priest out on. And it was a looking strikeout. There were a couple of pitches back-to-back, and it's right at those Bulldogs letters. You're going to have to attack, as it's already happened. But an 0-2 count now to Bayline. She goes swinging, chasing it out of the zone. Harris is able to get out of it, and we are headed to the top of the 4th inning. It is the Silex Lady Owls leading Louisiana 6-0. You're listening to Area High School Sports on Eagle 102.
Game of the Week coverage brought to you by McMailer & Sons Backhoe and Excavating, La Crosse Lumber Company, and Sudsy Tub.
From the classic cheesesteak and rich crab cakes, a taste of Philly in Bowling Green is a fan favorite. A meal ready for you before or after the game, and game day jerseys are welcome. Open 7 days a week. A taste of Philly. Business Highway 54 West in Bowling Green.
Your car, your stuff, your savings. Combine your auto and renter's insurance with a call to State Farm Insurance agent Cindy Blaylock in Louisiana, and let Cindy show you how to put life back in your life insurance. Auto, home, and life. Make your wallet happy. Here to help life go right, State Farm Insurance agent Cindy Blaylock in Louisiana.
High school sports on your area sports leader, Eagle 102. Brought to you by Bowling Green Tractor. State Farm agents Rod Prentice and Brenda Crawford. Vicki Cadwalder Real Estate, and Pepsi.
New pitcher for the Louisiana Lady Bulldogs, it's going to be Reese Womack as she's taking her warm-up tosses. 6 runs came across the score for the Silex Lady Owls in the top of the 3rd. Contributions from up and down the lineup taking advantage. There were a couple of walks and things in the mix. There was a handful of wild pitches or pitches that got away from the catcher, Pedersen, and just not much you can do about that. But going to have to tighten up just a little bit, especially when it comes to those EMO conference games, and make the adjustments. It seemed like Chandler was able to settle down whenever we looked at the bottom half of that top of the third inning and where she was able to settle in and get a couple of outs back to back. But before that, she was just kind of all over the place. And so that kind of feeds into your defense as well. And they're standing around a little bit more. And so it's really easy for people to kind of be caught off guard. So there were a couple of mental mistakes, not really a physical error at many of those runs that came across the score for Silex, but there were a couple of physical errors in there, but a lot of them were mental. And so just trying to stay engaged as much as you can, even in those long innings, is something with a young team and some younger girls you're going to have to remember, especially as you're trying to build your program. As Reese Womack, she steps onto the pitcher's rubber and delivers her first pitch to Morris. It goes out of the zone. Next pitch does as well. 2-0. Morris, in her last at-bat, was able to send a shot into right field. It was a single. Run came across the score. 3-0. Womack comes set. Delivers the next pitch with some oomph, but it carries out of the zone as well, and a walk is issued to lead off the inning. So it's Morris at first base, and now it's the fourth spot. Austin Van Horn. She doubled to center field, and she struck out today. 6-0 our score. First pitch is waved at, 0-1. Next one carries out of the zone, held on to by Jordan Pedersen. She had to do some climbing from that squat position as she was trying to stay low as long as she could in case Morris decided she was going to take second base. It's not the case. 1-1 with the runner at first base. Next pitch is called for a strike as well, 1-2, as Van Horn steps back in and awaits the next from Womack. If you're just now joining us, 6-0 our score. We're top of the fourth inning here at Wallace Memorial Park. An off-speed changeup from Womack, held on to by Jordan Pedersen, so it's a strikeout in the books, and that's out number 1. Runner at first base is Morris. And it'll be Twellman stepping to the plate. She is the designated player today. Has Nikki Carroll playing second base for Silex and Twellman hitting in place of her. First pitch she sees is outside, taken for strike 1. Twellman, a right-handed hitter, wears number 42. Had a nice game against Montgomery County just last week. Next pitch, right at the letters. He's calling it on both sides. That means he's fair. 0-2. It's those little things you have to note in the dugout and make those adjustments. Both sides. Know that that zone has expanded. And Twellman does just that as she chases a pitch on the outside corner. Right at the letters. Was in the strike zone. But she goes down swinging as Womack was able to power it past her. Back-to-back strikeouts for Reese. And now it's Rylan Harris. Harris had a nice shot to the wall over the head of Jalea Reese earlier in her last at-bat. And she fouls the first pitch she sees. 0-1. Still a runner at first base for the Lady Owls. That's Carrington Morris. As Harris awaits the 0-1 pitch. It's just a little high, right at her mask, 1-1. Was an off-speed pitch that didn't float to the bottom of the zone, just kind of came in high and stayed running high. Next pitch catches a corner though, 1-2. Womack gets the call from the dugout. She checks her wristband. Comes set. And It's a flip change and didn't get on top of it. She flipped it all right. It went way high in the air. Kind of had a slow pitch ride to it. 2-2 with 2 outs and a runner at first base. Rylan Harris at the plate. Grounded, 1 hopper back to Womack. Womack takes her time, makes a step, and then makes the throw to Tessa Priest. We are headed to the bottom of the 4th inning. It's 6-0. Silex leads Louisiana on Eagle 102.
Coverage brought to you by Mike Henry Excavating, Pogue Chevy Buick and Hannibal, and Service and Supply Co-op.
Central State Bank believes in more than just banking. Central State Bank's team takes the time to understand your unique needs and goals, and they're proud to be part of the community, actively supporting local businesses and events. Enjoy state-of-the-art banking technology for easy and secure online and mobile banking. Join thousands of satisfied customers who've made the switch to Central State Bank and experience the personal touch and professional service that set them apart. Visit one of the convenient locations in Pleasant Hill, Pittsfield, Kinderhook, Quincy, and Clayton. Central State Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Follow area high school sports on KJFM Radio, brought to you by One Multi-Sports Complex. Pike County Mutual Insurance agents Corey Buchanan and Sheila Clucky, Gambino's Eatery, and Hannibal Regional Medical Group.
6-0 our score is the bottom of the 4th inning. And it is Silex leading Louisiana. We're at Wallace Memorial Park. Thank you for joining us here listening to Eagle 102 Sports this afternoon, is bringing you EMO Conference play. Big game here, and would like to see the Louisiana Lady Bulldogs come to life. Maddie Chandler will lead things off for Louisiana. It'll be Chandler, Pedersen, and then Jenkins. If anybody gets on, it'll be Reese Womack. First pitch is on the outside corner out of the hand of Harris. It just misses. Good pitch, though. 1-0. Next one is lined right back up the middle. It's going to drop in center field, hits the grass for a single for Maddie Chandler. It's a good start for the Lady Dogs. It's a runner at first base and no outs. Pedersen goes hacking at the first pitch. She sees it's popped out of play. Our count 0-1 with that runner at first base being Chandler. She was your starting pitcher today for the Louisiana Lady Bulldogs. She's come out, but she's still hitting. So this one turned on, lined into left field. Great read by the left fielder Kuntz. She parks out underneath of it, says, "I've got it," and records out number 1. So Pedersen is retired. And it'll be Maddie Jenkins. Maddie Jenkins batting from the right-hand side. Quick hands, fights it off at the end of her bat, and it heads to the parking lot. It's a long strike. 0-1 with 1 out. Next pitch popped in the air, calling everyone off. It's Austin Van Horn. She camps out underneath of it about halfway up that first base line. That's out number 2, and it'll be Reese Womack. Bottom of the 4th inning. As Silex leads Louisiana, our score is 6-0 this afternoon. Womack swings at the first pitch and fouls it back to the screen behind us. It's going to carry over our heads and go back towards the bathrooms and hit off the top of the bathrooms. 0-1. Next pitch from Harris. Inches away. I feel like I could have stood up and caught that one, but it's going to roll back to the concession stand behind us. And now 0-2 with 2 outs, runner at first base. Harris has had a pretty good handle on the Louisiana Lady Bulldogs offense. As we mentioned, they've scored quite a bit of runs this year already. 18 runs in their first game for the 18-6 victory over Palmyra, and then they put up 15 runs on Bowling Green. And that final score was 15-5. So they've already put up some big numbers this year, and right now they're being held scoreless by the Lady Owls. Next pitch fought off, and we'll head to the concession stand as well. 1-2. Too many foul balls. They're waiting for some tossed in balls from the stands, from the dugouts, and they get them. And now we're ready for more softball. 1-2 the count to Reese Womack. Right-handed hitter steps in, and whoo, what a beautiful pitch out of the hands of Rylan Harris. Just a little too far outside, went into that left-handed batter's box. That evens things up at 2-2. Gonna have to be a little bit more perfect here. Next pitch, right at the knees. They're gonna catch her looking, and that is strike number 3. Our score is 6-0. You're listening to Area High School Sports on Eagle 102.
Coverage brought to you by Hayden's Motorsports, Geeky Hillbilly, and the Twin Pike Family YMCA.
Noah Builders in Silex is a proud supporter of all area athletes. They're a small, locally owned contractor with over 25 years of experience in custom and new home construction. Noah Builders wants to take your forever home plan and make it a reality. Call or visit Noah Builders at noahbuildersinc.com.
Castile Color Wheel has been proudly serving Pittsfield and the surrounding community since 1950 and is an expanded retail area. They began as a paint retailer handling Benjamin Moore and Pittsburgh paints, developing into a full-service decorating center, including wall coverings and Hunter Douglas custom window treatments. Castile over the years has expanded with home decor, high-quality gift items, bridal and baby registry, an upscale ladies and children's boutique, open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. until 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 until noon. Let Castile's be your one-stop shop, located just off the northwest corner of the square in Pittsfield.
The most complete coverage of high school sports is on Eagle 102. Brought to you by Eagles Bluff Golf Course, People's Bank and Trust, Pike County Health Department, and Missouri State Representative Chad Perkins.
Top of the 5th inning. It is a 6-0 lead for the Silex Lady Owls over the Louisiana Lady Bulldogs. Last inning we had a pitching change. It was Reese Womack who came in for the Louisiana Lady Bulldogs. And after giving up a hit, she was able to record 2 strikeouts and a ground ball that was hit back to her for out number 3. So after giving up a spot on, she was able to record the outs 1, 2, 3. First pitch she tosses to Macy Mooney is out of the zone for ball 1. One 0 pitch to Mooney. Mooney swings right through that one. That pitch had some funky ride back to the plate. 1-1.
My goodness.
Womack comes set, paints that outside corner, and gets the strike. 1-2. Mooney's got to fight. She steps out of the box, gets a big deep breath, and then steps back in on the right-hand side. Gets into her stance, watches an off-speed pitch. Great block, hits off the chest protector of Jordan Pedersen. 2-2. And the next one, low and inside, 3-2. Battles her way back. It's a full count now as Mooney's trying to stay alive and Womack's trying to put her away. 3-2 count. Just missing. Womack wanted that one, and it was a good frame job by Pedersen. But it's called for ball 4, and a walk is issued to Macy Mooney. It'll be Schwindeman up for the Lady Owls, with the runner at first base being Macy Mooney. 6-0 is our score. Swindeman flashes bunt, gets on top of it, fouls it off the plate, goes to the backstop. 0-1. As Womack comes set, gets the next pitch, and flashing bunt. And I guess she didn't pull it back in time is what the umpire is saying. I don't think anybody in the Silex dugout can believe that. But Schwindeman's going to be rung up for strike number 2 as she was flashing bunt and left her bat out for too long. I think maybe it was a bunt and run situation. Mooney retreats back to first base, though. And she's going to get caught looking. Nice pitch on the outside corner from Reese Womack. That's another strikeout in the books. Brings in Kuntz with 1 out and a runner at first base. She turns on the first pitch she sees, pokes it into right center field, getting a good read on it, calling everyone in the outfield off. It's Jalea Reese. She camps out underneath of it and records out number 2. Back to the top of the lineup for Rylan Jensen. Still a runner at first base. That's Macy Mooney. In the top of the 5th inning, it's a 6-0 lead for the Silex Lady Owls. Slow roller up the middle, off the glove of Maddie Chandler. It's going to be an error as Jensen reaches base. Runners now at first and second base, and it'll be the 2 spot, Kinsey James, due up for the Lady Owls. Next spot, right up the middle again, and it's Kinsey James who's able to record a single. It was pretty much the same spot as Maddie Chandler was just shaded playing, and it hit off of her glove whenever she was trying to make the attempt to get Jensen out at first base. It was maybe a step to the left, more towards the center of the field, but it is a single nonetheless for Kinsey James. And now we're back to the 3 spot. It's Carrington Morris who has an opportunity to extend the lead for the Silex Lady Owls with the bases juiced and 2 outs. First pitch, rides to the outside corner and sliding on her knees into that left-handed batter's box. It's Jordan Pedersen. She's able to save that and make sure a run doesn't come across to score. 1-0. This one's poked into right field. It's going to drop as Jenkins was playing deep. 1 run comes across the score, and here comes 2. It's another 2 runs on the board for the Silex Lady Owls. They lead 8-0 here in the top of the 5th inning. So the catcher for the Owls making it count. And now it's the 4 spot, Austin Van Horn. First pitch is high and taken for a strike. It's that spot that I don't think any player has really enjoyed having called on them as a strike, but it's been called all evening, so it's been pretty consistent. Womack off speed. Pitch is fought off by Van Horn. It hits the screen. And now we have a 0-2 count. The 0-2 as Womack looks at her wristband, gets the signal. She comes set, delivers the next pitch. It elevates, rides at the top of the helmet on the outside corner of the plate. 1-2. Runners at first and second base for the Lady Owls with 2 outs. They've scored twice already here in the top of the 5th. Off speed, kept in front by Pedersen, but it continues to spin and rolls down that third base line. Taking third base is Kinsey James. Morris stays at first base. So now runners at the corners. Our count 2-2. Next pitch, just outside as well. 3-2 now. As Van Horn is the hitter at the plate for the Lady Owls. She steps back in, and a pitch just outside. She'll be issued the walk. And bases are juiced again for Miss Kylie Twellman. Twellman, the designated hitter today, batting 5th for the Lady Owls. First pitch is up and in, ball 1. Twellman steps back in. A wide stance takes up that right-handed batter's box. Next pitch carries as well. 2-0, there's nowhere to put her. Gonna have to come back and fight here, but we know that Twellman's already had some success at the plate today. 2-0, next pitch is just down and out is what the umpire's saying. It looked like it caught the corner, but really nice pitch. But now Womack's really gonna have to work, and you can't be too fine here, especially with where you're at in the lineup, but you do need a strike to stay in this count. Get over fastball, she stays in this one, 3-1. Swing and a miss. Right back in it. Womack's able to come back. It was an off speed. It looked like it had a little bit of curveball action spinning to that outside corner. And Twellman swung right through it. 3-2 with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Ball 4. So she'll walk a run in. Our score now 9-0 as Twellman reaches. And stepping to the plate, it'll be Rylan Harris. Pitcher has seen the ball well today. First pitch to Harris. Rides high. It's taken for ball 1 as Harris steps back in. Womack gets the call from the dugout. She's going to spin the ball a couple of times. She comes set and delivers the next high as well. 2-0. And that one nearly got away from Pedersen, but she was able to stand on her tippy toes and bring it in. 3-0 the count. She's going to have to come all the way back. And the next one's right down central, taking all the way. It was Rylan Harris. Harris steps out, and she's ready now with a 3-1 count. She punches this one down the right field line, and it's just foul, now 3-2. Just missing. Right at the letter is the call that we've been talking about this afternoon. But it's ball 4, and run number 10 crosses the plate. Jordan Pedersen wants to have a talk with her team. They're going to take a quick break on the field. We'll be back with more softball on Eagle 102 Sports.
Game of the Week coverage brought to you by Pike County Title Company, Ambassador Plumbing Incorporated, and Lynn's Heritage House.
Cellular Satellite Center is the only stop you need to make when it comes to satellite providers, offering DirecTV and Dish Network along with antenna installs. Now, a special message from Matthew Niemeyer himself.
If you call an 800 number and they say we will be the local installer, they are wrong.
Contact Matthew at Cellular Satellite Center in Bowling Green, your local authorized dealer.
Area high school sports on Eagle 102. Brought to you by A Taste of Philly, State Farm Insurance Agent Cindy Blaylock, Central State Bank of Illinois, and Eolia Landscape Supply.
They've cleaned off home plate. Everybody's back to their set positions. Bases are loaded. There's 2 outs. It's an 0-0 count for Macy Mooney. Our score is 10-0. Silex leads. Mooney goes hacking at the first pitch she sees from Womack. 0-1. She digs back in. Off-speed changeup, can't help herself, swung right through it. Great pitch from Womack. 0-2. Louisiana would like to close the door here. You don't want any more runs to come across and score. And the next pitch, it's a curveball that rides high to the outside for ball 1. 1-2 the count with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Change up on the outside, doesn't get her to bite this time. Really good patience at the plate there by Macy Mooney. 2-2 with 2 outs. Next one is grounded softly to the second baseman, Maddie Chandler. She sits down on it after it hops about 4 times. That was a slow roller. She delivers the out to first base. We are headed to the bottom of the 5th inning. The Louisiana Lady Bulldogs have some work to do as they trail the Silex Lady Owls 10-0 on Eagle 102 Sports.
Game of the Week coverage brought to you by McMailer & Sons Backhoe and Excavating, La Crosse Lumber Company, and Sudsy Tub.
Welcome to Vast National Bank. How can I help you?
Hey, I'm here to talk to someone about a loan.
Oh, I'll grab you the L97B. We call it the Just Talking form.
What about actually applying for a loan?
Oh my, let me pop in the toner cartridge. Hey Bill, you want to pass me the big stapler?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go to People's Savings Bank.
Skip the mega banks. When you need a loan, visit People's Savings Bank. The people you know and trust. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The area's best coverage of high school sports on Eagle 102. Brought to you by Noah Builders, Castile's Color Wheel, Eagles Nest Inn, and People's Savings Bank.
Louisiana has some work to do if they want to keep this one alive. They trail 10-0 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. It was 6 runs in the 3rd inning, and that was kind of what sucked the energy out of the Louisiana Lady Bulldogs. There's still time, and they can field a comeback. As we mentioned, their offense has been on fire so far this year. Would like to see them do something here, but man, Silex has done a fantastic job of holding Louisiana, and it starts with the pitcher, Rylan Harris, in the circle. Just her command this evening has been fantastic. First pitch to Tessa DePriest is fouled off the end of the bat to the back screen, and it is taken as strike 1 in the book in the bottom of the 5th inning. Next one runs inside, backs DePriest off the plate, and it is called for strike number 2. Harris is going corner to corner. She goes up, she goes down. She's really got a great mix of pitches. That pitch didn't do what Harris wanted it to do, but it comes in and it rides right at the knees. Tessa DePriest gets caught looking. It's a looking strikeout and out number 1. There was a lot of giggling there from Harris's. It may have hit off of the side of her leg. I don't know. It definitely looked funky, but I know it didn't do what she wanted it to do, and she immediately looked to the dugout. First pitch swinging, Anderson pops it out of play. 0-1. A 1 count to Anderson. Next pitch, right in the zone, paints a corner. 0-2. What a great job by Harris. She's stayed locked in, and she's found her zone, and she's continued to pound that zone and catches Anderson looking inside corner. It was a rise ball that was tossed for a strike. A nice pitch by Harris, and that's out number 2. So back-to-back strikeouts. And Louisiana is down to their last out. It is Jalea Reese. If the Silex Lady Owls can hold on here, they'll close the book on this one. Pitch just outside, taken low. Reese, a left-handed hitter. She reached on a fielder's choice her last at bat. She steps in, and the next pitch rides low. Reeled in by Morris, but not much she could do with it. 2-0. Next pitch is at the knees on the inside corner. Good framework from Morris. She brings it up and into the strike zone. 2-1. Next pitch bounces in. Harris knew it immediately. It didn't do what she wanted it to do, so she turned around, picks up her rosin back, takes a few deep breaths, gives Morris a moment. It's a moment for herself as well. 3-1. Next fastball right on the outside corner. It's in for a strike. 3-2. That evens things up. Gonna have to fight and battle here. With 2 outs, it's Jalea Reese at the plate. Down to their last strike. This one is pounded to that 5-6 hole. Takes a couple of sharp hops and lands into the glove of Kuntz. So a single, and it keeps things alive. Runner at first base for Louisiana. Now it's Katie Wallace. She digs in on the right-hand side, and she had a single her last at bat. Quick turn and a drive to center field. Camping out underneath of it, it's Rylan Jensen. She records out number 3, and that's our ball game. The Silex Lady Owls come to Louisiana, and they get through this game in 5 innings. Our score 10-0. We'll be back with the postgame show. You're listening to Eagle 102 Sports. The Silex Lady Owls came in and were able to pick up a 10-0 victory in 5 innings over the Louisiana Lady Bulldogs, and the story went like this: 6 runs in the 3rd inning and then 4 runs in the 5th inning. 6 runs tagged to Maddie Chandler, 4 runs tagged to Reese Womack, and Louisiana just really didn't seem like they had a lot of energy today. And I think a lot of that really comes with their offense not getting started early. And so we mentioned a couple of times how great the start to Louisiana's offense has been this year. They were able to post 18 runs against Palmyra. Right after that, they posted 15 runs against Bowling Green. Today, they're shut out by an EMO conference opponent, and I think Rylan Harris did a fantastic job. I thought she did a great job last week whenever they played Montgomery County. And so when you have a good batter, you have a great catcher for Silex as well, Carrington Morris, and it seems like both Morris and Harris know each other very well, and they're able to work through some situations. And so, Silex is locking down, and they're playing defense whenever they need to, and they're playing defense behind their pitcher, and that's all that matters. So when you have a good pitcher and you can play some defense, you're going to stay in a lot of ball games. And so Silex really did a great job of taking advantage of some opportunities that were given to them by Louisiana. It didn't seem like Maddie Chandler was necessarily on her game. It was like she was kind of all over the place for a little while there. And then whenever you have base runners on, there's an intensity and there's some pressure that can cause some anxiety, and it just seems like she was trying to paint the corners maybe a little bit too much and trying to be too fine, and so she kind of just lost a grip on what she was doing there, and I think a lot of that comes from pressure. And so it'll be interesting to see how she continues to develop, because we know that when Maddie Chandler is out there and she's delivering her stuff in the capacity that we know that she's able to do that, Louisiana is a really hard team to beat. And they had a couple of errors defensively. Many of those were mental errors and mental mistakes. And so it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back from this. That is just their first loss of the year. They dropped to 2-1 on the year, and the Silex Lady Owls 1-1 this season. We'll come back with some more from the the post-game show, as the Silex Lady Owls came to Louisiana, picked up a 10-0 victory on Eagle 102 Sports.
Game of the Week coverage brought to you by Hayden's Motorsports, Geeky Hillbilly, and the Twin Pike Family YMCA.
Brown's Processing and Smokehouse Meats is your first stop when stocking your freezer. Brown's has frozen chicken, steaks, brats, and burgers ready to go. For wholesale and custom butchering, Brown's is your first call. It's where quality meets service. Brown's Processing and Smokehouse Meats. For your meat processing, smokehouse meats, and homemade sausage. Just off Highway 61 in Silex.
Geared Up, just off the square in Pittsfield, is your first stop for screen printing and embroidery. The folks at Geared Up take pride in making their communities and schools look great while offering the best prices around. If you're looking to expand your wardrobe, or maybe a gift is on the list, stop by their store and check out numerous items in stock. When you're looking for custom apparel and awards for your business, organization, or team, stop by Geared Up, 211 South Madison in Pittsfield.
The most complete coverage of high school sports is on Eagle 102. Brought to you by Brown's Processing and Smokehouse Meats, Geared Up, Community State Bank of Missouri, and Barnes Roots and Herbs.
Contributions from up and down the lineup for Silex. I thought that they bounced back well and took advantage of every opportunity that they possibly could. There were some errors that they took advantage of. There were a lot of pitches that they saw, which was impactful for sure, especially whenever you can make a pitcher, you can tire her out, you can make her throw a lot of pitches. And so they were able to do that, and they were able to do that effectively. They were selective at the plate. Very, very, very good offensive performance by the Silex Lady Owls. And then for Louisiana, I'd really like to see them bounce back. We've seen them play really well this year. We know what they can do. We know what they did last year. And so I don't think this is something that is going to continuously occur for Louisiana. I think that they're definitely one of those teams that has that fighting spirit, especially with the coaches in their dugout. Coach Matt Cannon, he's expecting a lot of out of his kids, and he's going to continue to push them to get better each and every day. And those kids are great athletes, so they're going to want to continue to fight and win as well. So not exactly how Louisiana was wanting it to go, especially in this big EMO conference matchup. You pick up a big EMO conference win over Bowling Green last week, and then you drop one to Silex, who is also one of those top contenders for being at the top of the conference as well. So overall, not exactly where Louisiana wanted to be in a game that matters, but whenever you look at the end of the season, you've got to be able to grow from this spot and only grow from there. But all good signs from Silex. It'll be a good week for them, and we'll be excited to see how they continue to compete in the EMO conference. We'll have area high school football headed your way this Friday, so make sure you stay tuned for all of that. We've got some great games that'll be headed your way, and it is homecoming this Friday for the Bowling Green Bobcats, so make sure if you are an alumni from Bowling Green, or maybe you just wanted to go check out the high school football game, it is a great weekend to be an alumni at Bowling Green High School. You can go to the Champ Clark Heritage Festival. You can go to the alumni banquet. Lots of good things in store. We'll always keep you up to date with everything that's going on across the Twin Pike region. online on our website at kjfmradio.com, and you can always stay tuned to 102.1 FM. Thank you for tuning in this afternoon. Our final score from this one at Wallace Memorial Park, it was 10-0. The Silex Lady Owls came in, took care of business, and defeated the Louisiana Bulldogs on their home turf to pick up the EMO conference victory. From Maddie Ingram from Brendan back at the station saying good night, everybody.